For the next 10 minutes or so as the music plays, we invite you to just relax, close your eyes, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Da Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari. 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 Namo
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang being a Sanskrit word for community of truth or spiritual community, where two or more people on the path of awakening and transformation come together to share their journeys, to open themselves together to the presence of the divine. We have a satsang. So welcome tonight. It is essential to be part of a spiritual community, eventually the spiritual community, because we're all one. We are a collective being, a supreme being expressing itself through 8 billion plus unique and quirky human forms and through all the other forms in creation. Everything emerges from the divine itself. And as we awaken and go deeper and deeper, we discover that's who we are. That's our true essential self. So glad you're here tonight. Join us, please, in sending the Flowering Heart Blessing to everyone who joins us tonight and everyone who views this video at any time in the future. The Flowering Heart Blessing is a direct transmission of enlightened divine consciousness, spirit, love, awareness, grace, light. It's a gift from the divine that we just serve as instruments through which it can pass. It comes directly from the divine and it catalyzes awakening. It dissolves blocks to awakening. It hastens the journey. It brings healing on every level of our being, spirit, soul, and body. And when you've received it once, even as you are right now, because you're soaking in it, we're sending the Flowering Heart Blessing from the moment these webcasts begin till after they're over. And when you've received it once, if you connect with this energy, just invite the divine to pour the blessing through you and join us in sending it to everyone. We include those who may watch the video anytime in the future because the Flowering Heart Blessing is spirit. I said energy, but energy is frequency that travels through space and time. Actually, spirit is everywhere, always, simultaneously, and instantly. So someone could watch this video 10 years from now, and they would experience the same spiritual presence that we share here tonight. Cool, huh? So we're working on helping the world awaken one person at a time in view of shifting the collective consciousness from a shared insanity of competition, conflict, and war to a new shared world of cooperation, harmony, and peace. That will require the awakening of the heart of humanity. Currently, that's happening one person at a time until there are enough of us and the teeter-totter shifts. And it's coming. So hang in there. Any announcements we have? I don't think so.
No.
Nope, we just finished a 2-day intensive retreat, Diamond Heart.
Intensive.
And it was, some people say who've done several of them with us, it's the most powerful one yet. It was incredibly deep and intense. And we do things that we can't do on a Monday night. We can't do it even here on a Wednesday night satsang. We need to be with a group, a small group, very intensely for a concentrated period of at least a couple days. And we're very, very happy with the results.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's... We want to open it at this point to questions and answers on the spiritual journey, ideally on your journey. We will answer these philosophical questions that I'm seeing coming up. I'm not sure how this is going to assist you in your journey of awakening, but I'll come back to that. And we will entertain the philosophical questions about meditation, awakening, life, death, angels, God, anything you want to ask. The best questions are about what you're encountering and how to navigate where you are in your journey. This moves the divine to pour out inspiration to me and Suzanne to share with everyone who joins us. And so that's your part to play. And thank you for the 3 questions I see already. To give anyone else a chance and to ask inside if there might be some area where you would like more light, more clarity, listen to that still small voice inside of you. And in the meantime, I'm going to share an article and some quotes from inspiringquotes.com, which I've been doing each week for a while. Tonight, we're sharing a little article and 16 comforting quotes about making mistakes. Something we're all familiar with, I hope. This may be the first time, or I'm not sure we've shared an article before from Darren Orff. Darren lives in Portland, Oregon, has 2 cats, and writes about science, technology, nature, and history. And making mistakes. So here's what he has to say. In 1711, legendary English poet Alexander Pope composed one of his most famous works, quote, an essay on criticism, unquote. An essay of criticism is less of an essay and more of a lengthy poem. The piece features some of the greatest phrases in the English language, including fools rush in, and a little learning is a dangerous thing. But it's line 525 that has truly stood the test of time for its elegant simplicity in summarizing an undeniable truth. To err is human. Those words have resounded for centuries because everyone makes mistakes. The very nature of living is to essentially fumble your way through it, however imperfectly, trying to make wise course corrections along the way. Many great minds, from Greek playwrights to astrophysicists, have wrestled with the reality of human imperfection and have reframed mistakes as not just inevitable, but meaningful and valuable. Often it's the way we react to our mistakes, how we forgive, learn, and move forward that truly defines us and our happiness. After all, there's a second part to Pope's famous axiom: to err is human, to forgive divine. These 16 quotes speak to the instructive power of mistakes and how to move past them stronger than before. Here we go. Freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. Mahatma Gandhi. One of the basic rules of the universe is that nothing is perfect. Perfection simply doesn't exist. Without imperfection, neither you nor I would exist. Stephen Hawking. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. George Bernard Shaw. I hope that in this year to come you make mistakes. Because if you're making mistakes, then you're making new things, trying new things, learning, living, pushing yourself, changing your world. Neil Gaiman. We should regret our mistakes and learn from them, but never carry them forward into the future with us. Lucy Maud Montgomery. Living with regrets was like driving a car that only moved in reverse. Jodi Picoult. All men make mistakes, but a good man yields when he knows his course is wrong and repairs the evil. The only crime is pride. Sophocles. Mistakes are, after all, the foundations of truth. And if a man does not know what a thing is, it is at least an increase in knowledge if he knows what it is not. Carl Jung. A step backward after making a wrong turn is a step in the right direction. Kurt Vonnegut. I never made a mistake in my life. I thought I did once, but I was wrong. Charles Schultz. You need to give yourself permission to be human. Joyce Brothers. What is done cannot be undone, but one can prevent it happening again. Anne Frank. If you keep looking back, you've gone trip going forward. Gucci Mane. A man of genius makes no mistakes. His errors are volitional and are the portals of discovery. James Joyce. That's the very reason they put rubbers on the end of pencils. Because people make mistakes. Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
It's cute.
Do not fear mistakes. There are none. Nice.
Miles Davis.
Miles Davis, yes. Okay. Okay, so back to our questions. First tonight, first and last so far, is Tristan. Hi, Tristan. My first question is about angels, which is where we left off last week with your question. My first question is about angels. Have you ever seen an angel? Why do people see them in wing form? And do some angels reincarnate to become humans? Are new souls not old souls? Well, those were various questions. First one is, have I seen an angel? Yes, I have. On numerous occasions, I've seen angels. And that was a real life changer for me because early in life, my sister, who was in touch with the nature spirits, the fairies and the elves and all that bunch, taught me when I was very young to open my eyes in the moonlight and to see the nature spirits dancing in our garden. That was amazing, but it introduced me to the spirit world and not to celestial beings like angels or to God. So it took me a while to weave my way through something that, to begin with, most people didn't see anymore, the nature spirits, but to discover the divine spirit. And that was the real life changer for me. And so that's been very important. And I have seen angels in various forms. But generally, they are radiant and filled with the divine. There's something about the presence of an angel that most people just know that's an angel. I could say the same thing about the Christ. Most people who've authentically encountered the Christ in spirit know who that is. Even St. Paul, when he was Saul, the destroyer who was going around imprisoning Christians, men, women, and children, and sometimes leading to their murder, he was quite an oppressor. On the way to Damascus to carry out that same destructive mission, divine light struck him and knocked him off his horse, and he was blinded by the light. And the first words out of his mouth is, "Who are you, Lord?" So there was something in him that recognized that that light was divine. But angels, they can disguise themselves. Sometimes they will appear to people in human form. Sometimes they'll reveal themselves. Sometimes it's in spirit, like a spiritual vision in meditation or prayer or a dream. Sometimes it's very present but translucent. Sometimes they can appear very solid. And you ask, why do people see them in wing form? It's a good question. The Bible mentions the seraphim having 6 wings, and people throughout time have seen angels with wings. St. Francis of Assisi, when he saw the seraph angel, and their angels, the seraphim, are like the highest order of angels, and their hearts burn with divine love. That's their earmark. They're on fire with the love of God. And Francis, when he saw the seraph angel, light came out of the angel and printed the stigmata, the nails from Christ's hands, feet, and the wound in his side into Francis' body. And from that moment forward, until his passing, he had these open wounds, the stigmata of Christ, which is very strange. Suzanne knows someone who had that experience. Don't need names, in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd forgotten about that.
And Padre Pio and others. But angels, why do some people see them in winged form? Well, first of all, angels are messengers of the divine. Angel means messenger, basically. And a dear Jewish friend of mine, who has his own point of view on many things, quite a scholar, said that angels are, in fact, that's what they are. They are messages that the divine sends to humanity. So it's not surprising that they appear in human form, so that we can relate to them and receive their message. But additionally, they're more than just human. They fly, and they come from the highest heaven, and they return to the highest heaven. And so, in a sense, I think the appearance of them with wings is sort of metaphorical. Yes, the same angels that appear at certain times with wings, like the seraphim, this very high order of divine loving angel that has 6 wings in certain visions, its name literally means fiery serpent. And they are like the flaming dragons of heaven that are pure love, not the earth dragons of Europe St. George went around slaying, not like that. But they don't always appear in the same form. I have seen angels with and without wings. I have to say that when I saw angels with wings, it was way up high. And there were dozens of them covering a valley in Colorado near Aspen in Snowmass. It's the valley where St. Joseph's Trappist monastery is. And I was there making a retreat. And in that valley, at that time, you couldn't get a cell phone signal. You couldn't get any kind of signal. It was completely shielded from electromagnetics. And I thought, this place is really special. The vibe is amazing. I went outside and I looked up. And they were semi-transparent, but absolutely visible angels with their wings spread, and they were touching wing to wing and covering the entire sky over this valley, just creating like a bubble over it. You never forget something like that. And they were huge. Sometimes angels appear. When I was on the missions field in Bolivia, we were way out on the Amazon. I was sleeping in a thatched roof hut with a dirt floor. Days from civilization. In fact, days from a paved road. And there were people out there that were still involved in, I'd just straight up call it demon worship. They performed human sacrifices, and it was very dark. They're very primitive. Some of the indigenous people that I was reaching out to. And their medicine man was not very happy about that. And he stirred up a mob, literally. And the mob came to the door of my thatched roof hut. The door was 1/4-inch plywood. They had machetes, they had sticks, they had God knows what other weapons besides machetes and sticks. And they were saying, we're going to kill you. And they were beginning to beat against the door. I was sharing my hut with someone who said, wake up. These people are breaking in. They say they're going to kill us. I went, ah. And I rolled over and went back to sleep, which is insane. I mean, clearly God was just flooding me with peace, and I went back to sleep. But a whole group of young people that I had brought who were from Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Bolivia, Colombia, they were in their 20s mostly, and they were joining me on this missionary journey. They were scared. And they were praying, and they were peeking out of their hut, which was about 50 yards from mine at a safe distance, when all of a sudden, as they began to try to break down the door and beat on it, appeared this figure, human-like figure that was 9 feet tall and filled with radiant white light. And when the mob that was trying to break down the door saw this 9-foot-tall being of light, they scattered. They ran. And I didn't even know what had happened until the next morning when everybody told me. But I didn't get to see that one, but thanks to that one, I'm still around. and I know that was an angel. They didn't describe it as having wings. And I know of another situation where someone was in a difficult, lethal situation in Africa many decades ago. And there were very serious people that came to kill this man in the night and hunt him down. And like me, he went to sleep and slept through it. But there were witnesses. And this giant angel with a sword of light came and faced a mob of people with spears and arrows and shields. These were indigenous African warriors that fully intended to kill this guy, and they were driven off by this giant figure with white light and a sword. Next morning when he woke up and they told him the story, he kind of had a moment of doubt. Oh, come on. And then he looked, and at about 20 to 30 feet out from the Jeep he was sleeping on top of was a ring of abandoned bows and arrows and spears and blades. They had dropped their weapons and left a circle of them and fled. And when he went into their village the next day, they saw him and their eyes just went wide. And they received him, welcomed him, took care of him. He was safe with them from that moment forward. Angels, I mean, there are so many amazing stories about angels. But while I've suggested it might be metaphorical that they appear at times in winged form so that we know that they're beings from a higher realm, in all honesty, I don't know why. I just have to say, why do people see them in winged form sometimes? Don't know. I've given you my theory. Do angels reincarnate to become humans? No. Angels were never incarnate. Angels are spirit beings, and they have never taken on flesh. Although they can appear in solid form, they don't incarnate as humans, and they never die, so they don't reincarnate because they never ever died and never were incarnate. Another question, all in your first question. Are new souls not old souls? Some new souls are old souls. There are many old souls that reincarnate over and over again in this world. Some because they have to work out their karma. Some because they're bodhisattvas who come back to help. But I did the math. And with over 8 billion people here, some of them have to be brand new souls. Because if you figure out how many have been here and how many have reincarnated and all that through time, it just doesn't add up to 8 billion. So, and I can't tell you how many, and I'm not going to do the math, but I did it in the past, and it was clear to me that many of the people on planet Earth now, it's their first time here. That's my conviction. Any thoughts?
No.
And then Tristan goes on, second question. That's okay. Arguably fourth question. Second question is about performing miracles for people. Do saints know they are doing it in will? Often. Although, if it's a genuine miracle, it's God doing it. If it's a human doing it using their own spiritual power, that's magic. And it's black magic if one uses their spiritual power to manipulate the free will of other people and manipulate the world. It's gray magic if it's gray in a gray area. They think they're doing good, but who knows? And then there's white magic, which is supposed to be when the divine spirit is working through someone. And a genuine miracle is the divine spirit working through a human being or in response to the request of a human being, doing something that we couldn't do. So when we talk about people performing miracles, if it's authentic, what it means is they've learned to cooperate with God to that degree. I mean, God told Moses to strike the rock and water came flowing out. So Moses did that. Or did he? It was God that did it. But he did it through Moses, telling him to strike the rock, just like he told him to reach out his rod over the sea and split the sea. A little bit later, after striking that rock and bringing water out of the rock, he took credit for that miracle. He said, "Do I have to do these things for you, you stubborn people?" And God came immediately and said, "Because you claimed to be the agent of this miracle, you'll not enter the promised land." Moses lived to be 120. He lived another 40 years in the desert. He saw the promised land from across the Jordan River, but he himself did not get to pass over. And it was specifically because he struck the rock a second time, and the second time he did it, he claimed that he was the one who was working the miracle. So that's a very important distinction. Glad you asked. Did the Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, any female saints do this, or is it done without thought? You're talking about different kinds of beings here. Buddha, a human being that became enlightened. Krishna is thought of as an avatar, which is a human incarnation or manifestation in human form of an aspect of the divine. In the case of Krishna, Vishnu. In the case of Jesus, although people have different opinions, he too is thought to be an incarnation of the divine. Jesus himself said, "I can do nothing of myself." All these miracles you see, it's the Father in me that's doing these works. So, but a being like Buddha or Jesus, and certainly Krishna, where there's no real human element there, except his appearance, his form, these beings are so one with the divine that they could intend a miracle to take place, and it would. But it would still be the supreme spirit of God or the universe working in response to their intention, their request. And I think it's so important that Jesus put there, I'm not doing these things. It's the Father in me that's speaking through me. It's the Father in me that's working these miracles through me. So you don't have to believe in me. Just look at these things that are happening and know that it's God doing it. So there's your answer, I think. Another question.
Okay.
Tristan, I have a friend. She doesn't know a lot about female saints, and neither do I, other than ones who are alive, like Amma, the hugging saint, or Guru Mai. May we in the future experience more. Amen. We agree. There have been lots of female saints. In fact, I mean, even in the Roman Catholic Church, I would guess there are at least as many female saints or more than male saints. So that's not a new thing. Female saints. Mother Teresa, well, she was living till recently, was a living female saint. Saint Clare, the spiritual partner of Saint Francis, of the Franciscans. So many, and there are quite a few. There are several Ammas alive today. Amma Chi, the hugging saint, Amma Parvati, or Adma Parvati, these names. A living saint avatar in India. The one in Germany.
Mother Mira?
Yes, Mother Mira. But another Amma. All living female saints. The mother, Sri Aurobindo's partner, the mother was a living female saint. It was a female saint that kissed the forehead of Meher Baba, a great Sufi mystic in India. And when she kissed his forehead, he was fully enlightened and became what many people consider an avatar. But Meher Baba was a great enlightened saint, and he was enlightened by a female saint. And on it goes. But yes, I'm glad the world has at least been willing to admit that these women were actually divine saints. Because women have been repressed in so many other ways, but even the medieval church acknowledged female saints. And so, yes, may we experience many more in the future. Good for the world. Ananda Rose, hi.
Hi.
Says, there are stories of people invoking Archangel Michael to help them with miracles in times of need. Well, yes, indeed. And Michael, the Archangel, is the leader, he's the leader of the heavenly host, the army of God. He's the one that faced off with the Dark One oh so long ago and drove him and his fallen angels out of the highest heaven to mess with us. No, not to mess with us, but they're around. But Gabriel is an archangel. Gabriel's the messenger of God. Raphael. Rapha means healer. Raphael is God the healer, but he's an angel whose ministry is healing. So the different archangels have special gifts, special missions toward humanity. And Michael is a protector and a warrior. And in the traditional rite of exorcism, he is immediately invoked. And there are things written about him and how he deals with darkness, but any time that you're in warfare with the powers of darkness, God forbid that ever happens, but if you were, you can't take them on in your own strength. In the power of God you can, and one of the best ways to do that is to invoke the angels, particularly Michael, who will stand between you and the dark attack and take it over for you. And you can just step back and begin to offer thanksgiving. So, yeah, Michael's a big one. And, well, I kind of like it. Michael's my name. Angel's my game. No, I'm not an angel, but I do work with the angels, and we're very grateful for the Archangel Michael, absolutely. He's the protector of humanity. So, I'm not seeing any other questions. Let me check over here on another website. Okay. Yes. Danielle on Vimeo. My name is Danielle. I had a question regarding the existence of fairies, as you had mentioned it. Have you seen them? If so, what is their purpose? Yes, I have seen them throughout my life. And What is their purpose? Well, what's the purpose of a hummingbird? You know, what's the purpose of a squirrel? It's to live and to express. They live on a different dimensional reality than we live. And most of us, our eyes are not tuned to see the wavelength of light in which they exist. But if that wavelength is expanded by grace or through meditation, like people learn to see auras, some people see the nature spirits. And their purpose, well, depends on whether you make them mad or not. They are very close to nature. And they can be guardians of the forest and of the flowers and the natural creatures. And so if you have a very good relationship with nature, you may become aware of the fairies along the way. You've seen fairies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was mind-blowing, wasn't it?
I was on a trip in Washington State, and we were driving through a Native American reservation, and we were on a dirt road, and there was this embankment with a tree stump, and you could see the roots. And I stopped and I backed up and I took some pictures of it, and I said, I know that there's fairies there, I can't see them now. So later I went and sent it in to have the photo blown up to a poster size, and I put it above my bed. And I had a friend over once that has a lot of like psychic talents and grew up in Hawaii and around nature a lot. And I said, I know that there are fairies in here, I just can't see them. She goes, oh, there's a ton of them. She starts pointing them out. And she's like, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. And then I could see it because my veil was lifted. Mm. And she said, how many are there supposed to be? Is there a chart on the back? I said, no, I took this picture. She said, oh, I thought you bought it as like a game or something, you know. It was really funny.
So Ananda also adds here, very cool. A mystic in England told me to read more about him, Archangel Michael, and use him as a guide more.
Nice.
Yeah, invite his presence and his protection and guidance, and that's great. Almost makes me think you ran into our friend Kathy Tyler. But she is from Findhorn, and a community that was based on living in harmony and communion with the nature spirits, and the fruit and the vegetables that are produced on the land of Findhorn are just nothing short of miraculous. And many of their founders and people involved have eyes wide open to see the nature spirits, but also on occasion angels. And Kathy Tyler was co-author of the angel cards. Mm-hmm. So when you said you ran into a mystic in Europe, in Great Britain, that told you to read more about this angel, could have been our friend Kathy. Probably wasn't, because there are plenty of other people that are aware of these things.
Yeah, if you haven't heard of angel cards, they're amazing. I had got a set from a friend when I was like 19, and I slowly lost some of them. These teeny little cards about the size of fortune cookies. Yeah. And they've got little drawings of angels on them, and they've got words. I think there's 52 in the deck. I have 2 decks now because a few of the words got lost. But I have them in this little bowl, and in the morning I'll close my eyes and I'll ask the angels, what do I need to work on today? And I usually draw 2 cards. I say, what do I need to work on today and what would support that? And it's uncanny how much it's so accurate. You know, like if I'm really serious and busy, it'll be like play or surrender, or if I'm feeling kind of weak, it'll be power and transformation. You know, they're really fun. Our youngest daughter just moved to Spain to teach English as a second language in September. And the box is only like this little tiny box. So that's what I gave her as a going away present to take with her so she can learn how to start tuning into that. So it's a beautiful way for personal growth.
And divination can be a wonderful tool to cultivate your intuition. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Old Testament condemns it. So fundamentalists say divination's out. But if you really read the Hebrew scriptures, they had a prescribed form of divination, the Urim and the Thummim, and they cast different colored stones to get messages from God. That's divination. But one that they felt in harmony with. I particularly like the angel cards and the I Ching, because they don't tell you what to do. They just give you a glimpse of what's going on.
Right.
What you might be interested in cultivating or looking into. But it's not like, some people use divination, like reading the cards to predict with certainty you're going to meet a dark-haired lover and it's going to be the love of your life. I don't buy that stuff. But in terms of seeing the present moment and what we're dealing with today, angel cards are really harmless and wonderful.
They are.
And the I Ching, properly used, is all about the forces of change in the present moment and how we can resist them or move with them, but it frustratingly, it won't tell you what to do. Okay. And Ananda Rose writes, love that. I have a similar ritual with rune stones, and yay for your daughter. And she writes, yes, runes are very much the same. Yes, sure. And so it's all how you approach divination. I think that if things are working out as the divine might like them to in one's path, you might be introduced to a form of divination that's really effective. And you might begin to notice that you're intuiting even before you throw the runes or the yarrow stalks or the coins at the I Ching or draw the cards. You begin to know already in your heart what it's going to tell you. Mm-hmm. And at that point, you begin to let go of the external forms and begin to listen to the divine speaking to you directly in your heart. And in that way, they're a wonderful tool. Wow, we talked ourselves into the night.
We did.
So close your eyes and open your hearts and begin to receive the flowering heart blessing that is pouring out to you, pouring out upon you, pouring out from within the center of your being. The divine presence itself in all of its fullness, the entire universe is inside of you. And the divine at the center of your being loves you unconditionally. There is no distance, there is no separation. It yearns to take you into its embrace and draw you into the realization of your true and essential oneness with the divine source and with all that is. Separation, ignorance, darkness, it's all veils in the mind, not spirit. And the divine would like to dissolve those veils and flood you, spirit, soul, and body, and relationships with transforming, healing light. So receive. Drink it in. Breathe it in. With every breath, breathe deeply of the divine spirit and presence. It knows exactly what you need. It already knows what you want. And it is all powerful and all wise and all love toward you. So you can just relax and open your heart and receive and allow and breathe in the The divine may also come to you through strangers. That's why Scripture says, don't forget hospitality, because through that many people have entertained angels unawares. I met a beggar in a park one night long ago who was actually an angel and revealed himself to me. Just let your heart be open to receive the grace that the divine source is pouring out to you constantly. Fill your spirit with light and awakening. It will flood your mind and your emotions with clearing grace to clear away the wrong thoughts and feelings and programs and replace them with divine inspiration. It will flood your physical body with healing from head to toe, and flood your relationships with grace that will heal them and make them right. And shine through your life to everyone who comes close to you. Just allow it to be so. Let go of all your pain, all your resistance, and let the divine melt you to peace and joy and love. Now you could open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me or both of us. Just keep looking continuously at least one of our eyes. As the light meditation begins, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of divine love and light and grace, pouring out to you through every fiber of our being, especially through our eyes, the windows of the soul. All you need to do is look. You don't need to ask, pray, think, just receive the light. And you don't even need to see it. It streams out through our eyes, in through your eyes, into your heart, causing the flames of divine love and the light of awakening to grow brighter and brighter and brighter within you. Just keep looking and receive. your eyes now. Meditate with us for a few more minutes as the grace settles within. Now keep meditating as long as you like. Or find a place nearby to lie down in Shavasana. In Shavasana, we lie on our back comfortably with our eyes closed, arms by your sides with your palms open, turned upward. And just let yourself dissolve with gratitude in the presence. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Until we meet again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine in you, and we bow to you.